I've pretty much been drawing and painting all my life. My mother painted, so I had the privilege of watching her paint. And my parents also exhibited artwork from local artists on our walls. So I've always been surrounded by art. That art was specifically of African people. They were portraits of South African women and children. So that has had a direct impact on my aesthetic. I don't think it's by mistake that my work is portraits mostly of people who are part of the Afro-diasporic world. What I do, I stand on the shoulders of others that's done it before me. Being born in the late 60s, in the midst of what you could say is the tail end of the Civil Rights Movement, but in the heart of the Black Arts Movement and the Black Power Movement, having experienced that in the 70s, and then being a child of the hip hop movement or hip hop music and culture. One thing I know is that there's no such thing as a self-made artist or a self-made person. So I am strongly influenced by many of my elders, and some of which who are ancestors now, strongly inspired by the young people to create work that connects with people. Again, I've had the privilege of studying traditional West African culture. I'm a byproduct of 3 HBCUs actually, because I was a student at Coppin. I graduated from Morgan and Howard. But it was partially that HBCU experience that taught me that my work is not for my own self-aggrandizement. And through my studies, I come to understand that in pre-colonial West Africa, there is no word for art per se. But there are aspects of what we define as art: music, dance, theater, masquerade, a very high visual aesthetic relative to West African culture. But all of those things happen all at the same time. They're not separate, and the audience is not separate from what we would deem to be the artist. It's very communal. So I kind of take that approach. I study music, I study theater. When I go to a movie or the cinema, I'm not just going to be entertained. I have to choose which hat I'm going to wear. I love studying other artists' work. To me, it's all really one vibe, one rhythm, one energy, because our roles are the role of a musician, the role of a visual artist, a writer. We really have some of the same responsibility. It's to communicate that which is very difficult to communicate, to bring in from the metaphysical into the physical. So I'm finding my current inspiration mostly from my students. I'm a 20-year veteran in Baltimore City Public Schools, and I've come to the understanding that my practice as an educator and my practice as an artist/image maker are not two separate practices. It's the same practice. And my students, the vibe, the spirit, the energy of my students, their mind, the way their mind works, their lived experiences and lived expertise is probably the #1 inspiration and motivation for my work.